Ewa na ewa, lo ne modu, lo ne mi modu. Mama, akwanama, lo me mada, lo me mao, lo me mada, lo me ma, lo moye, lo moye, lo na mewe, lo ne mo, lo ne mi mo, abade gogo, lo ne mo, abade gogo, lo ne mo, abade gogo. Ewa na ewa,
Good evening, folks. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners in Radio Land. This is Afonso Z and So, talking like Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome you in the second segment here. Been a very hectic day here, but it's part of our commitment to keep the community informed and discuss issues, making news headlines in our community. As you know, LPR is not just in the business of discussing politics, but there are others who are making significant impact, changing lives, philanthropic institutions, organizations, if you will. I also bring them here to give them the voice, not just only what is happening in Capitol Hill or executive mansion. So tonight here is going to be a start, it's an introduction, and we hope to continue this sort of conversation here. We have someone special, first time appearing, but we're going to have a conversation. RUBEN and Friends Foundation. We're going to get an insight from the CEO of this foundation, what it's all about and what you need to know. Potentially, what are they doing? What was the essence of this? How it came into being? My guest is standing by backstage, and I'm going to be bringing her here very shortly, and we will be having this conversation. That's the second segment in tonight's conversation right here on the Diaspora Informative News Outlet, Liberia Public Radio. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome. Let me bring in my guest, standing by. Let's see the conversation, how it's going to go out here this evening. So let me put it on a show here. As a special wave, the CEO of RUBEN and Friends Foundation, Fatu, is right here joining me this evening from the ocean state of Rhode Island. Good evening. Good to have you here.
Good evening, Mr. So. Just a little quick point of correction. I'm from Boston.
Boston.
Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston,
yeah, but I partially grew up in Rhode Island and do a lot of singing and community engagement in Rhode Island. So, yeah.
Okay, well, Boston is our neighboring state, even though they are liberals, but It is. It is. Okay. Good evening, Fatu, if you were to call you, Madam McCall, if you were to call you. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation to be here. It's part of our community online engagement to have this conversation. We don't just talk politics. There are other people who are impacting lives, making extraordinary contributions in society, countries, and it's also important to have this conversation. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. And good evening to all of you wonderful people who are watching now and who's going to watch later from Liberia, all around the United States. Say good evening, good morning, and thank you, Mrs. So, for having me.
Okay. Introduction is now one of my favorites. Sometimes in the process of introducing people, you tend to leave out good pieces of information that would make people to glue to the conversation. So I'm not a good friend of introduction. So I always like to get it from the horse's mouth. In order for us to get down to the wire, just briefly introduce yourself the best possible way you can. You can better do it than I can do it. So just introduce yourself and then we'll get down to the conversation.
Yes, my name is Ms. Fatuma, or per my ministerial office, Minister Fatuma Makor, founder and CEO of the RUBEN and Friends Foundation. Um, uh, you know, from Liberia, was privileged through my family to join them 20 plus years ago at a young age. However, once a Liberian, I believe still a Liberian. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. A librarian still remains a librarian no matter what. What are the tone, the language, that's English. Well, I want to hear a librarian. That sort of apprehension going to be there, but you avoid directly. Okay, good to have you. Been seeing you a couple of places. We have not had a limited conversation, but for the last period of time, seeing you, it's been a very wonderful thing and things that you've been doing. Now I got to know talk lately. Rubens and Friends Foundation. Let's get down to the basis of this here. Tell us here a little bit, and the rest of the audience want to say Rubens and Friends Foundations. What does it imply? What it means? How it came into being?
Thank you. The RUBEN and Friends Foundation is a foundation for children with special needs, children with disabilities, and in Liberia, we call it disadvantaged children. All right, and I'm a mother. Okay, I am the mother of Ruben, and we had Ruben earlier, and I asked him to please, come and just greet the people and say hello, and he wasn't having it. I enjoy the Facebook and everything else, but he doesn't really care for it. So Ruben is my son. Ruben is 14 years old. Ruben was born uh, uh, healthy, and as time went by, we didn't realize that something was wrong, and we saw the doctor, and Ruben was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. So years later, I'll say 13 years later, I went to Liberia uh, after Ruben was born, and I came back from Liberia, and the Lord just said to me, to open a school, for children like Ruben. And I said, well, God, this is not something I can do. This is a task that is bigger than me. And realistically speaking, I said, God, I can barely feed the children that I have. I have two boys, Ruben being my second son. I said, I can barely feed the two that I have. Never mind, opening a school in Liberia, a place that I don't live. Okay. And I just dismissed it. And I said, God, if this is what you want me to do, you will confirm it. And this was told to me in February of 2022. May of 2022, the Lord confirmed it. And then I said, okay, God, I'm not going to be disobedient, but what do you want me to call it? And this is where the name came about. Everything about the foundation was prayerfully done, because this assignment, I call an assignment, is not something to take lightly. Being a mother, okay, who wears the shoes 24-hour of caring for a child who is disabled, I know firsthand the frustration, I know the joy, I know the emotional roller coaster that it comes with. So it's not something that I took very lightly. And I said, well, God, what are we going to name it? He said, Ruben and Friends. I said, oh, that makes sense. He's Ruben, who is my son, who the foundation is named after, who owns the foundation, by the way. I'm just the employee, okay? And Friends. I said, it makes sense.
Working for
And
Ruben and Friends.
yes. And with that being said, I said, okay, then God, I'm all in for it. When you lead, we will follow. And we got right onto it. Reach out to our friends and family in Rhode Island, here in Massachusetts, around. We did our first fundraiser, and people embraced the idea. And we're 2 years old, okay? And we're 2 years old, and I tell you, it's a great journey. It's a wonderful journey. It's something that we are so excited about, but it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. So that's how we got to where we are today with the name and how the foundation all came about.
This conversation is not meant to dig up by all wounds, but it good to, I think, these are very inspirational testimony to revelations. There are others who there who are not willing to come forward to tell their story. That could serve as a motivating factor to say, wait a minute, if Fatuma, Minister Fatu, if you were to call you, can come out, I can to do this. I too I can do it. Let's digress here a little bit. When this your son was diagnosed, what was the first instant? How you felt?
Well, I was in my early 20s at that time. I mean, I'm not that old. And um, I didn't, I didn't, I don't know how I felt, to be honest with you, because at that time, I never heard of this. No one in my family has any form of disabilities. I think the goal was, the question was, okay, what do we do after moving forward?
The
Because
long
I'm
was a long term
what's the long term? And
battle.
yes, and that was what I that came to mind, and I said to the doctor, how long does he have to live? That's what I asked her. I said, because I want to know how to properly love him. I want to know how much longer he has to be around. What do I have to do? And how, just some questions that, again, out of
You
my,
look in the face of the doctor to ask him that, or
I
he
did, I did, I did ask the doctor, and I
was
said,
it
I want to know.
was it to like something to your disbelief or what? Why you were asking that question?
I was asking because, again, I was a young mom, didn't have any education on this, haven't experienced this. It was all new to me. And now the doctor's saying to me, he has cerebral palsy. This is going to be a lifelong thing he's going to live with. So that's what prompted the question, because of what she said. So that's why I asked her, then how long do I have to have him around so that I know, to enjoy him and just be the best mom that I can be and handle the situation to my best ability. But as time went by and we began to see therapy, I remember it was an Indian lady. And she said to me vividly, she said, every time you bring your son to this his appointment, you always have this joy. And I will never forget what I told her. I said, because I know in whom I trust. Again, I didn't know my left from my right. But one thing I knew, that my son was going to be loved. One thing I knew, that I was going to go down and exhaust every avenue that was available to get the help that he needed. Because number one, he didn't ask to be born. It was my choice, and that was the right choice to do. So now, it's my responsibility. And it's just something about it that just told me that, we're going to be all right. It's going to be a long walk, but I just need to know, what do I need to expect? All of just the little questions that I didn't have anybody to ask. and along, and she said to me that, you know, your courage is great. And ever since then, we've been riding.
Do you
Yeah.
see this like an angle? Did you ask God why? Why me? Why me? Why should I, experience this? And doctor, yeah, doctor is telling me you're gonna be a long fight. Your questions was faithful to test.
To be honest, I do not recall asking the question, but I just kept asking what happened, what went wrong.
What went wrong?
That was my question. Not with the doctor per se, genetics,
Mhm.
is it from my end? Is it from his father's? And, those were my questions. What went wrong? Did I eat something wrong? Did I drink something wrong? Just again, don't forget, I'm in my early 20s,
Mhm.
very immature, uh, didn't have the education that I have now,
Experience.
so those were my questions. But I didn't ask God why, to be honest. I just asked him what went wrong. Yeah, that really got my attention. What went wrong?
Was that some sort of self blame? You blame yourself or blame? Is there anybody that you and you have not found an answer today? Correct.
No, I haven't. And no, I didn't blame anybody. I didn't blame anybody. The goal were, one, to find out what went wrong, number one, and how long is my son going to be around, and what can I do to keep him healthy, to keep him safe, because I felt that a big uh, obligation, responsibility has fallen on me. Okay, and what can I do at that moment? Because I'm a solutionist, if I should say. I'm always looking to find solution, because if the milk has spilled, I'm not going to sit there and ask you, oh, Mr. So, who spilled the milk? Who did this? The milk has been spilled. Let's clean it up.
Let's clean it up.
That is my attitude. Let's clean it up. Ruben is here. What do we do? How can we properly care for him? And that's it.
And that the cleaning up you are doing now, correct?
Yes.
Wow, that's quite interesting. So, how this ended in Liberia? You are Liberian, so you left from there, like you alluded, at a very young age. You went for visit, correct?
Yeah.
What triggered that? What was something that triggered? Ruby is not in Liberia. Ruby is here, and by the grace of God, we're in a civilized society where proper care, medications, all of these different help is given. Not as much as it is in Liberia, but something might have triggered it. What was that? You remember?
To, uh, to answer the question, the Ruben and Friends Foundation is global. America is our parent home, is where Ruben lives. And when I say we are global, of course we're going to Liberia, because I can't clean up someone's home if my home isn't cleaned up. No, I must take care of my home. We must start in Liberia. And there is a louder cry in Liberia. There is an urgency. There is an emergency, in Liberia as compared to here. As you rightfully said from the very beginning, we live in an advanced country where Ruben is in, as a matter of fact, Ruben is 14 years old. Ruben is in high school. Ruben played basketball. I mean, you can check it out on my Facebook page. Ruben loved to party. Ruben loved to have a good time. So we believe that, I mean, if we have a grip of the situation here in the United States, Liberia does not. So I think our attention should be where the cry is. Our ears should be where the cry is. Okay. And that is why we went to Liberia. And when I said from the beginning that the Ruben and Friends Foundation is global, what do I mean by that? When Ruben is done building in Liberia, we will touch base on, we're going to go on to wherever the Lord is going to lead us. The foundation is going to go to the next country that the Lord is going to lead us. Do not forget, we're a nonprofit organization. We run on donations. So the more donations that we have, the more we're going to move to other countries. But first, we're starting in Liberia, because that is where I was born. That is where I was partially raised. Again, before I was blessed to join my family here in the United States. And sometime 2022, when we were about to have our Christmas party, the guy said to me on the radio, we did an interview. He said, "Why did you choose to come to Liberia?" I said, "Because I'm a Liberian. And there is a louder cry. There is a need. We want to change the narrative. Okay? We want to destigmatize. We want to demarginalize these other children, because growing up as a little girl in Liberia, I saw it firsthand how the disabled were being treated. They were being kept in a room, given 1 meal per day. They will defecate on themselves, urinate on themselves. I mean, and if whoever that is in charge of them chooses to come and care for them, would then go and bring them out and give them a shower, or sometimes to send them up interior, and we never get to hear about them. The Ruben and Friend Foundation wants to change that. We want to let you know that a little girl, a little boy may be born disabled, but as our slogan said, we see the able in the disabled. All right? We want to educate them. We want to meet them where they are. We believe that a girl who is physically disabled can add to society. Because if we want a better Liberia, we must look at every aspect of it, not just the people who are able. Handicapped people who are physically disabled are able to bring something to the table. All right? So that is why we're coming to Liberia. And guess what? We're coming to build a school. We're coming to build a university. Why do we want to do that? Because we believe when they graduate high school, okay, we evaluate them, all right, and find them competent enough. We send them to the Ruben and Friends University, where they can properly prepare, okay, for the workforce. Because I don't know about you, I have faith that, sometime from now, Liberia is going to be a country that will catch up with the mass. Liberia is going to be a country that will be able to provide for its citizens, and its citizens will be able to provide, for its country as well. So that is why we're going to Liberia. Again, to recap, we want to change the narrative. We want to educate the people. We want to remind people that a disabled child or albino child is not a waste to society. They have a voice. And if they cannot speak, the Ruben and Friends Foundation is going to be that voice. And if they're unable to walk, the Ruben and Friends Foundation is going to be their feet to walk for them. And I'm sure there are other entities in Liberia like us, and we want to join with them as well. We're not coming to override anybody, okay? We want to respect what they're doing. All right. And we want to learn from each other and see how best we can give them a better life and include them into society. That is why we're going to Liberia.
Where is this strength coming from?
Above. It's coming from the Lord. And just to throw this in there, the foundation is a faith-based foundation. We have our website running, and it's www.rnffoundation.org. And the very first thing is our scripture. Luke chapter 14, verse 13 to 14. The Bible says, when you have a feast, okay, call the cripple, call the blind, call the poor, call the less fortunate. He said, because they won't be able to repay you, but God will repay you. And that is what we're doing. We're having a feast. We've brought the table before you, everyone. And we're calling our blind friends. We're calling our disabled friends. And because we're doing that, the strength comes from God.
This is quite fascinating. You are a young lady. There are others that are listening out there. Probably it's either in the worst case scenario more than what you are going through, and they feel embarrassed, they feel shame, like you say, like their kids are because of disability. Anybody could experience those are natural, some medical conditions, whatever it is. But there are still some there who feel rejected, dejected, and say, why me? And nothing is being done in a sense with the parents, like you so open up. And what would be your word to them? How can they triumph over what you have?
And I'll start off by saying everyone handle things differently. Every one of us have our own perspective of things, And your perspective of things would then give you the perception that you will have. Now, society has a way of making people, especially I'm going to come to us here in the United States, but I'm going to go to Liberia and Africa at large. But I'm going to, emphasize on Liberia, especially Liberia. You have a child, okay? They no longer address you by your name. Oh, the girl with the crippled daughter. Oh, the girl with the crippled son. I mean, it's hard enough. I'm already going through this. Now you've taken my name away and you've given me, you've identified me with my situation when you should be helping me. And let's be realistic about this. That will make anybody not want to be seen with the child. That is embarrassing. Okay? And it's just not in Liberia, even here.
Mm-hmm.
Young girls are putting their children in group home. And listen, I 100% support that. I would rather have the child in a safe place than to have the child at home with you, you being ashamed of the child. Do not take the child out, and let them have a normal life. All right. So I'll say this. The reason why I give that a background is because that has been told to me before. A lady said to me, the reason I don't go out with my children is because people mock me. They make mockery of her, even here in the United States. All right, they make it look like as though she went to God and said, oh, Father, Lord, please, I'm about to give birth. Please make sure I have children who are disabled and they're going to change my life forever. Let me tell you something out there. Neither one of us, no mother who's watching, a family who's watching, ever went to God and said, Father, I want a disabled child. We all pray for something good. We all want a healthy child. Everybody wants a child that they could be proud of. Okay? However, what do we do when we find ourselves in this situation? Let's not forget, people, there is something called genetics. It could be from the mother, it could be from the father. But in our African norm, once the child is disabled, that is my fault. And these are all the reasons why some of these mothers keep their children at home. Because number one, especially again in Liberia, I could barely put food on the table for myself. All right, I'm struggling with my child. I'm frustrated. Then I take this child out. He or she is drooling, or maybe walks funny, or maybe doesn't talk, and people are making fun of my child. I don't want to take my frustration off on them. But here's what I got to say to you. As of today, the 1st of November, I'm encouraging you. I'm a young woman just like you. If you follow me on Facebook, my son goes everywhere with me because I birthed him. I want you to know that your children, your daughter, your son is such a gift to society.
It's going to be a little bit more emotional.
I want you to know that, okay? It doesn't matter what society says. What do you say? What do you say? And you have the final say. Don't be ashamed of your babies. Take them out. Take them to church. I mean, like I said, you go on Facebook page. I took my son to play basketball. Many of you that are watching, you know, I'm a singer, okay? I'm a speaker, okay? When you saw me the other day, Mr. So, I had just got done singing at someone's funeral that morning. I went to my sister's house and I changed.
What time do you have with all of this? Because sometimes I'm sure for you to tell me this evening, because every function, major functions, you always there. It's that sort of inspirations always, and when you handle the microphone, it's like the microphone knows the owner, and people will feel something with inside. And for you to have a child that more or less need as that sort of care, what time? How are you managing it?
Like I said earlier, it's the grace of God. It is the grace of God. It is, and just to go back to the when I told you about Saturday, when I left that event, I left early because I had to go to work.
You're kidding me.
I went to work. After I left work, I went to service and I preached that morning. And then after we had an event in the evening, and I took Ruben with me. My son loved to play the drum. He plays the drum. He likes to play the guitar. He plays the guitar. He likes to sing. He likes to do things. I do not limit him. I'm not a superwoman. I'm not better than any parent out there who may be in my situation, but I chose to take control of the situation. And I know it's hard, but I chose to keep my head up high. And I want to encourage you to do that as well. Keep your head up high. I know it's not easy, but God is with you. Love those babies. Love that child. Do not listen to anything they have to say, because they wish they had the energy and the grace that you had. All right? And I'll tell you this. And a young girl said to me, the father of my child is not involved because of the boy's condition. And I said to her, well, you are his mother and you're his father now. And that is happening more in the community. And I think you men that are watching need to understand that women shouldn't have to be the only one carrying on this burden. You could have been the reason from your end that could, cause this problem here. However, that's not why we're here. But we're here to let you know that imagine having to have a child entire, livelihood dependent on you, 80%. And then you have yourself to care for. It's frustrating at times. So I'm appealing to families. I'm appealing to the community. I'm appealing to fathers and mothers. Okay, let's not come to the place to make people so uncomfortable with their children that they may not want to be seen with their children. Let's help out. Fathers, step out and help these mothers. Okay, and every mother out there who may have sent your daughter or your son to a group home because it's overwhelming for you. Listen, I support the idea. All right. But I just want you to go and visit. Pay them a visit every weekend, all right? That does not make you a bad mother. You're still a good mother. Maybe because of the society and community saying things to you, that made you make that decision. But I want you to know you're still a good mother or you're still a good father.
Well, let's go back to Liberia, where it seems to be the hub of Ruby's and Friends Foundations. And I would say out front, I thank you so much for what you are doing. I don't think it was forced. You could have directed all resources to be here, but I think that was a divine intervention, knowing what you are going through. Like, let me be someone else's keeper as well. Where is this foundation in Liberia?
I'm sorry. The volume is a little low from your end. Could you
Yeah,
please?
the foundation. So where is it? What part of Liberia?
Right now, as of now, the foundation, the team were to go to Liberia this December, but because of lack of funding, we have postponed our trip to next year by the grace of God. However, we do not have an office yet, but we do have a team in Liberia. So hopefully, we do have a team in Liberia. Hopefully, before March or April of next year, we will have an office established there in Liberia. But for now, we're online. You can log into our website and learn about us. Our board director, Mr. Andrew, who is watching, just posted our website there. You can log on and read all about us and what we plan to do. And we anticipate the Fendel around the UL area in Liberia. That is where we want to purchase about 5 acres of land to get our work going. So we are anticipating that. So hopefully, again, by April, we will have our office up and running in Liberia and with our team that we have on ground now.
I guess this is a very huge vision. Hearing you with this sort of passion, convictions, with boldness, speaking, I believe this is a very huge task ahead. At the end of the day, it comes with the resources, and the bottleneck resources is financial resources. Government is not like here. Whatever you're doing, you're going to be back home there. And I'm not sure whether the government of Liberia or other people that have the resources, the first mindset perception, oh, the woman from America, she living in America, so she's bringing all of the millions of dollars. So everybody going to have like a sort of folded hand. How is this foundation been sustained?
The foundation is nonprofit. Okay, and we run on donations, and I can see that most of our donors, people who are always sending us Zelle and Cash App here to the foundation's account, they're watching. That's how we generate funds. We're nonprofit, so we reach out to donors. However, because we're a nonprofit and we believe that this is for the country, we are asking the government, and when we do make our way to Liberia, we're asking the government to intervene, because if we're going to build a project that is that is estimated at $2.5 million, okay, we okay oh, we're going to tell them, hey, because we're nonprofit, and I was told that it's also under the NGO, we're asking that, you please help us with purchasing the lands and mines, however, tax break that we may be able to get, because again, we're nonprofit and we're NGO, and this is for the country. This is for something that will help the children of Liberia, our disabled children, give them a sense of living. Yes. So that's how we get our fundings, by reaching out to donors, and they have been generous. We are so grateful. They have been generous. The Liberian community here in the state of Massachusetts, the Liberian community in the state of Rhode Island have been so welcoming to us, support this idea so greatly. And I'm just humbled by that. So that is how we get our fundings. But however, we're not just limiting ourselves just to our Liberian community. There are Caucasians, there are other ethnicities, there are other people who we have spoken to about this vision that are with us. They are excited about it, and they've also been donating. So we do get our fundings from donors.
Yes. Now, there's might be some other critical thinkers out there, and we always try to put this thing out, let the public be the one to decide. So more or less on this platform, we focus with less on entertainment, too much on entertainment. MC Caro and the other people, they can do that. But when people come here, we like to have an honest conversation. Someone out there might be wondering, Minister Makor, have you tried to sort of partnership with other organizations, maybe similar organizations on the line, and it has not worked? Is that why you uh, getting to jumpstart this? Have you made such an attempt before?
We no. Right now, we're getting our foot in the water. We want to get our foot wet. We want to be established, with our own identity, because we've got we've got our vision, and we want the vision to be authentic. So hopefully, once we've mature, that's the word. Once we've mature, we will definitely in the future be open to collaborating, working with others. But as of now, no. Ruben and Friends is a private entity. Okay, on his own, is authentic. All of his idea is from his board's member. We have our monthly meeting every month, and we subtract and we add, and we just make sure do what we have to do to keep everything intact. But for now, we're alone.
Okay, and my understanding is a big fundraiser, but you most of the time, be a funeral or other big events, you are always there as inspirations, great songs, and all of that. How the tendency of our people, God will bless you. God, for me, I've been blessed by virtue of me being here. What is there any sort of reciprocations on the side of gesture coming, leaving Boston, coming to Rhode Island, going to other places? Is it because oh, she get a great voice with call, and then because she's a minister of the gospel, God will bless her. She will do it. God, I'm wondering because be a good bad event, you always visible to show that sort of love, to bless people with the kind of great voice that you have. How are people in turn appreciate what you do?
People are, I'll be honest, I do not come up front and say, oh, you're going to pay me, for this. And I,
Why?
I do expect people to know that I'm coming from
Oh
far.
no, I think I
Yeah,
need to
and
tell
I'm going to correct that. I'm going to
Don't.
correct that because I've learned along the way. I did expect people to know that this girl is coming from far and she has a foundation. And I make it clear, hey, just make send I do not give a specific amount because I should. Because if you look at my the time, it takes me almost 2 hours to get to Rhode Island sometimes. And when I'm coming back, especially around about this season, the football season, the sports season, coming back to the Foxborough, sometimes 3 hours. Okay, so rightfully, I do ask that they send a donation to the foundation for the voice. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes people are very generous with gifting me. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what else to say
Mm.
because I don't know how many of us people you need with your conscience. You go Zimbabwe, you come by that conscience is not there. And I mean, honestly, rational people, that's how it should be. You come in, you take off time, you go out to work, you should be providing care for Ruben, you could be in the church praying, you go into huge traffic. I don't think you get a free gas station where you just go and fill your tank. You come in, you stand you before people, you gotta look decent and all of that. So uh, people should be responsible as well. Sometimes you tell people if you find a 1 or 2% to say there's a saying that say they just suffer with the unjust. So first person, second, third person, hey, you get a great voice. The first time I listened, I said, is she a Ghanaian? But I was asking like a friend because I mean, we're not going to do anything if you want to show a little bit, we want to do it. But for the most part, I follow and the way I've seen you have carried yourself. I think that was the first time when I asked for your car. Like, I've never seen a person like this before. That always visible good and bad times. But it's important that people also use their right conscience. Now, we're going to be like we had a conversation, and I will continue to have this conversation. For us here at LPL, we always like to support community. We are also a community-based network. Very suddenly, I can't even remember really doing like what fundraiser for ourselves. Not that we don't need money, we have working team, but sometimes you have to put order first, serve people, and based on what you are doing with very little information that I've received, it's a clear indication is you're doing it with a really good mind. And so we will do whatever we can, and that was one of the reasons I say let's have these conversations. Let's unveil to what Rubens and Friends Foundation is, and at a subsequent time, we create a public awareness and where there can be people can give because Liberian too can give those. To be honest, Liberian too can give, but they have given until they don't know who to give because they have a lot of fake people out there profess to be doing something. Are doing it well, like people are doing it, but they're doing it for themselves. And when they give, they turn it by GONE gone. You never see them back again. So we make sure we kind of like do our own check-in to validate what people are doing is right, and then so we can have this sort of conversation. But we'll work thing behind the scene. Uh, and like you said, by with the courage and the kind of conviction that you have, will be willing to do whatever advertisement that you want to do. We have our team, Liberia. We don't usually put tag on things too, but there are some people, trust me, I can put Kosu on there. Yeah, the politician, I can put, I want to post so him and throw and we know the kind of people who can do it too, because when they can't, they just wanted to go on, they're gone, you never see them again. But on a serious note, have you come up with a specific date with this whole library program or so, or launching? I don't know whether you have launched it before, but is there any specific date that you have in mind to launch it? Maybe we can talk to some of the board members, other members at some point in time, just to kind of like get it out there, expose it. It is already out, but to make it more explosive so that people will know what the organization is doing.
I'm so sorry, Mr. So. I don't know if it's from my end, but it's a little low
The voice, really?
You're yeah. So sorry if I'm leaning in because I'm trying to hear you.
Yeah.
So could you repeat the question? I don't know
Yeah,
why.
yeah. So is it much better now?
A little.
Okay. So I was just asking, do you have a specific date on hand to do like a launching for here or other programs in the making for fundraisers, for example?
Okay. Um again, not only do I have the Ruben and Friend Foundation where I live, I'm very active in my community. I host a yearly concert that I do here, and we do a yearly fundraising here in Massachusetts. And as a matter of fact, we have one coming up in Worcester on November 23rd. And we've got another one coming up on December 14th here in Boston. So one of the big reasons we were anticipating to go to Liberia this year was simply because we wanted to officially register the uh, 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 uh,
The
we
organization.
wanted to officially register the foundation in Liberia. Okay, because do not forget the registration fee, getting our 501c3, doing our bylaws and everything. It costs money, and that money comes out of my pocket. And let's not forget, I also have my own bills to pay. So
Right.
so some things will be delayed. So we've been doing little fundraisers here and there. Um, Within the states here. So again, we were anticipating going to Liberia this year to register the foundation there and to officially launch it there. But we've launched here. October of 2022 is when we launched the foundation here in the states. So we're known. The foundation is known in the community in the state of Rhode Island, in Massachusetts. Yeah, and we're growing. The other day, I left someone one of our brochures and left our PO box. When I went to check the PO box, there was a letter in the PO box. There was a check in the PO box. So I said, okay, then we're getting somewhere. This person wasn't African, and we have our numbers, and people have reached out, and they're asking questions. And I'll be honest with you, the support is overwhelming. It is just overwhelming, and it's the same question that they ask for a young woman as you are. You should be having fun out there and doing other things. And I said, I know, but I believe I was called for this. I'm a mother of Ruben's mom, okay, and I know how it is. So we're out there, we got our boots on, and we're ready to work. So next year we will be going to lunch in Liberia.
I did hear you. What was the date for this year event? You say in December? This December in
December
Boston?
14th, we have an event here, because not only will Ruben and Friends Foundation be serving Liberia, we have now incorporated, okay, we have now incorporated what we call the New Beginnings Community Center. And that's an auxiliary of the Ruben and Friends Foundation. So that what is it going to do? It's going to serve the community. Okay, we're going to have an event center for after school programs for our special needs children. We're going to have a place for our seniors. We're going to have a place for our youth. We're going to have a place for our families who are just coming from Liberia, and see how we can be the bridge to connect them to the help that they need. So that is one of the main reasons why we're having this engagement in December, to let the community know what the foundation is up to, because we're obligated to that. Every year we want to come back and tell the foundation how we're doing, give them updates on the progress of what we're doing.
Yeah, we actually appreciate it once we share those the events activity for December. Like I said, I believe we had a conversation in the past. Everything is all about publicity, getting the information out there as much as possible, reach as much people you can reach, appeal to them. We're not going to get tired, because eventually the more information people get about your establishment, your organization, they see the authenticity, They will give, like Librarian can give, but it's just that sometimes they don't give until they don't know who to give and where these resources. I did hear you talking about is it a 501c3 or is it in the process? I think I heard somebody tweeting that way. Have you obtained your 501c3?
It's in the process because of the amount at the moment that they were charging, and I needed to pay for that. And I said, listen, that is the only hold up. Let me put my, pick a few hours at work and be able to bring in the funds to be able to cover that. So hopefully by the end of this month, we should be all set with that. But everything,
Okay, so
everything else is
we
all
can
set.
throw it out there to our viewers, the viewers and follow like Public Radio. They are people of different professionals that do stuff and think. I can remember when we were working, somebody just can say, "Hey, I've been following you and I can do it." And actually, it was literally instead of what the charge for is, I had to scratch my head. What I think I need to do triple, and all of that. But luckily, somebody intervened. So if you are following us here this evening and you feel touched, is just any way that you can help Ruben and Friends Foundation first and foremost to get a 501c3, even giving donation. Eventually, we'll set a date here. We will talk and then we'll set a date here. We'll create some promotional flyers, video, all of that. And we can see and have a fundraiser. The functions. Let's talk about the function for December 14th. December 14th is right here. For me, I like adequate preparations. That it gives you better results. Where will it be? Is in Boston.
It's here in Lynn. It's here in Lynn. Yeah, within the Boston area. Yes.
Yeah, I know Lynn.
Okay, great.
You have the venue, everything
Yes.
set.
Yes, it's going to be at my church where I fellowship. We have a fellowship hall, and
So people want to go there free?
I'm sorry.
They're gonna go inside free and go just you singing and finish and say, "Oh, yeah,
No,
are you kidding me?"
Because right now we are again, we're new. We are new, so we're still figuring out the ways. Like next year, we do look forward to giving out tickets for our fundraiser, because at this time we want to make sure we have our 501(c)(3) 501(c)(3) together, because once we do have that, then that will give us some way to say we're charging.
Minister Fato, you're trying to put me in a shed. I don't want to go here. Look, the church itself, yes, it is your church. The church too. What are they paying mortgage? They're paying their electricity. People are going to get low need. People got to learn to pay for people's services. We got to compare people. It's not because you are doing the work of God. So then, I mean, you work, yet and still you work, you make time. You go to people function. People got to pay. People have to. I'm sorry to say, maybe if I'm going over the top here, but it's part of our job in this media industry to tell people to do the right thing, because it's part of what get our society to be what it is. Everything we can leave people, everything we caution. No, some people caution none. You can give an injection from Monday to Sunday, it will never wake up. People got to, I mean, it doesn't matter how much, but you put in time, other people put in time. You're talking about doing 501c3. You're not going to go to a white man and say, "Oh, because I get a foundation." They have people, you have to pay. So if it is a minimum amount, people have to, they got to be responsible to do something. Nothing is free in this country. I mean, I'm sorry to say, even people who call you for event, you try to be humanitarian and they're quick to take advantage of people. Oh, I almost said that, man. In the same time, will call, she will come tomorrow. No, yeah, we have to stop that kind of behavior. I mean, I don't know, but I'm sorry.
I totally agree with you, Mr. So. I totally agree with you. Okay. And over time, things are going to change. They are going to change. You're not the only people actually get angry. I had a family member, a funeral that I sang at 2 days, and the lady called me, "Oh, how much did they give you?" And I told her she was furious. She said, "You are joking." And I
Absolutely,
didn't.
he's right.
And I mean, this is the only. These are the
I
family
mean, like,
members who's
not to
talking.
interrupt, every function, good or bad time, I thought you live in Rhode Island. I'm
No.
kind of shocked for you to tell me. And I know how far it's in going through that crazy 93 coming from Boston. I mean, you will literally fall to sleep because of the traffic. I'm not even talking about gas and going back. And people will just say, oh, because she's woman of God. They sing and they finish, they clap, hey, man, God bless you. You have to look decent, and that's how you are always. So you got. Should I be your manager?
Are you looking to be hired?
Yeah, because sometimes people they take advantage of people. With the guy, they take advantage of people, and that's the problem with our community. Not everybody, honestly, uh, things that they can't do to other people when it comes to their own people, and they develop artificial or some sort of leprosy finger. Then they know where the $5 is, they know where the dollar is. Whenever they give it, they put a hand in their pocket, they feel, they know when it's dollar, they know when it's $5. That is just bad. I mean,
And I agree with you, Mr. So. I agree with you. And as I said, things are going to change. And let me just be honest with you. When you're doing these things and you want to be mindful. Let's not forget, because it takes one person that'll go and say, "Oh, I told that girl to come sing." The way she charged me said it wasn't easy. It happened recently at an event. When I told the lady, I told the individual, I said, "You don't have to do it," but the person was going to come with me. They had an attitude. I said, "Oh, so you want me to come and sing and then pay the instrumentalist at the same time, and then tell you to wait for me? I should wait for you while I have to drive back." And then I began to think about it. I said, "Well, you've served your community very well, and I know you do not want people ruining your reputation. But listen, at some point, something's got to spoil. And you know what? There are some people who will understand you once you change, the way of doing things, as long as it's the right way to do it and it's beneficial to you." That is why I keep saying, things are going to change. Things are going to change. I agree with you. Sometimes it's frustrating. And when I tell you I'm in traffic, I've spent 3 hours to get to Rhode Island sometimes. Especially if I have to be at a
I know
funeral, I
it's
have to
traffic,
spend the
bro.
night there because I do not want to be late. And again, I appreciate it, because if these people did not call me to minister, people in Rhode Island wouldn't know who I am. There are people who know me. Oh, Ruben, you want to say hello? Ruben finally can come on, come say hello. This is about you. This is you. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi,
Hey,
everybody.
Ruben,
Hi,
how are you?
Daddy.
So
How are
everyone, this is
you?
Ruben. This is the CEO. I'm just the employee. And like I said earlier,
Oh,
he
come
did not want to
on.
he did not want to be here. Tana. He wants to be here now. So this is Ruben. Ruben,
Huh?
do you like basketball? Okay. Are you happy about this foundation? Okay. So can you say thank you, everyone,
Everyone,
for supporting
good.
my
My
foundation?
very.
So Ruben knows every time he hears Ruben, and then he would say, "And friends," he would tell me when I said Ruben, then he'd say, "And friends." So I've asked him many times, I've shown him some videos, and I said, "Ruben, how do you feel about this?" And then he gives him the thumbs up. And he's very happy about it. Come, they want to see your handsome face. So this is Ruben here. Ruben is 14 years old, right? And you like basketball, right? And you like to play the drums.
I was a drum.
Right. You like to play the drum. And you also are really great help to mommy around the house.
Hey, Ruben, you're gonna be in action on the 14th of December?
Wait 1 second. Can you repeat?
Ruben, so will you be in action on the 14th of December? Because I'm trying to make
Oh
a
yes,
schedule to come over.
I will be there. I will be there. Right.
Happy.
You will be there, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Ruben helps me around the house with the dishes. Ruben helps me with the trash. Ruben helps me, and when I get dressed, he tells me, "Oh, mommy, you look good." And when we're about to go out, he said, "Mommy, are you gonna do your makeup?" "Mommy, you gonna do makeup? You gonna do makeup?" He knows the drill. So yeah, he's my right hand guy. And I'm so grateful to God that he's my son, that God chose me to be his mother. I couldn't have had it any other
Bye-bye.
way. You want to go bye-bye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, Ruben. Thank you for sharing it
What?
with
No,
us.
don't end it. He wants to end the live.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
you can leave, you can hang out. But mommy's gonna stay for a few more minutes and then we will be going.
We just got a few minutes and then you will have mommy to yourself, okay?
Wait a minute, baby. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, you can hang out. You can stay with us. You can stay here. This is about you. You can stay here.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you want to go and come back, that's okay.
We just have 2 more minutes, Ruben, and then we'll be done.
Everyone, this is Mama.
We are taking his time now with mommy.
Mm-hmm.
Look, this is quite amazing, and I hope this video will serve as an inspirational, some sort of motivation to people who feels, or whatever reasons, your child is a child. You know, like a Liberian man, they get up saying there's no bad wish for a child. I think that's the last thing for somebody to just kind of like shy away because of whatever reason. It's not your fault. I mean, you can either question God because you've been asking, you're not going to get the answer. So I think, like you rightfully said, if it's failed, the only thing is to find a solution to help other people, and like exactly what you are doing. I know it's already 9 o'clock, but I will have to figure a time where we can now get the information out. It might not be all, but pretty well a good significance what the foundation is all about, your thinking, what you intend to do, and you know, we will talk to our followers, our viewers, take into consideration the message here tonight, and the impact is not you're not telling us you want to go be representative, but to make an intervention for people who are less fortunate to make their lives better. We can do that, but you can also throw it out. People who wants to give a free will for the December 14th, that's something we can advertise to send a goodwill donation as well. You know, but if that program in my church, when I father, I said people gotta pay. I mean, people got to give. We can't just of course.
Just give me 1 second. Let me help Ruben for 1 second.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Just okay, well, folks, Mafonso Z and Sort of the Library Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. These are things that we like to do in as much we talk politics at time. We look in the community to see some of the things that are happening. There are some people making significant impact, touching lives, making intervention. And so we also gave them the opportunity to tell their real-time life story for you to see. And that's exactly this lady. I've seen her 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And when she started to sing here, I swear to God, you want for your wedding or whatever function, call her. I wish I prepared a video, but I don't just want to put it. I can't just be freezing here. And that's what I think she needs to do. So, coming from Lane here, maybe an hour or 45 minutes and taking to traffic. I talked all along that she was in Rhode Island here. But she always on, even there was a event that I covered last week, Saturday, honoring program. She sang there. I mean, it was just wonderful, wonderful. Very well gifted tune, this lady. Okay, let me provoke her what I to see what I do her song, what I she ought to do 1, 2 seconds. Well, it's 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's take a quick break here, and I will be right back.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events, such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-3337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services, and your friends in business.
Okay, just bear with us. We'll be getting her back here before we wrap up. I'll be right back.
Hello, listeners. This is Mazola, the lover boy. I'd like to invite you to this exciting program. It is called Dancing for Jesus. It is intended to play beautiful, inspirational music to help you turn your life to God. Join me on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is our way of showing appreciation to God for the good things He has done for us and continue to do. Don't miss this opportunity. Join Mazola Gizi on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the program Dancing for Jesus. Please be there because I will be here to rock it up for you.
Our guest is back here. We'll soon be wrapping up here. Thank you so much. You got a chance to attend. I think we'll be found out that it's dinner time. We are jumping into his dinner time. Okay. Yeah,
So Ruben calling the corner. Ruben said he wants his iPad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Mr. So just to put this out there. Some of you who may be wondering, how can I be a part of this? I'm sure at some point he will put down my number. This is something for Liberia, and I'm sure the audience were all Liberians. Okay? My people, he said something earlier which makes a lot of sense. All right? People want to give. But you're asking yourself, is there another avenue for this young woman to get some kind of name for herself or some enrichment or whatever? And you have the right to ask these questions. And my answer to you will be no. And what I'll say to you, we need not just your financial support. Maybe one of you could be watching and you own acres and acres of land in Liberia. You could be a blessing to us and say, you know what? Give me your phone number. We're going to call you. And we want to know more about this. Please do that. Inquire. All right? Whether you're donating or not, and if you want some information about this, please feel free to do that. Because as a public servant, we owe you explanation. We do. We can come and Mr. So can interview us, or other great people will interview us. However, we want you to know that we want to be accountable. Okay, we want transparency. And we are committed to this. But we cannot do this work just ourselves. We need the community support. And I say this with sensitivity and respect. I'm sure that many of us here in the diaspora may have a niece or a nephew in Liberia that will benefit from this school. And very quickly again, Mr. So, just to throw this there, the foundation is looking to purchase 5 acres of land. And on this 5 acres of land, okay, we are going to build a school, kindergarten to 12th grade. All right. On the same 5 acres, we're going to build a university. Okay. And on the same property, we're going to build a 200 beds. Okay. A facility, just like we have here in the group home, where we will have 100 for girls, 100 for boys. And the reason why these children are going to be there is because they cannot be at home. All right. They need 24-hour care. And guess what we're doing? We're creating jobs. Mr. So, are you following me here? We are creating jobs. This is not just let's build this school. Let's come together and do this. We are creating jobs. When I
Absolutely.
think about it, I mean, it's a big project. It's about $2.5 million. That is the estimated price for this within the next 10 years. It's doable. It's doable. So if you're watching and you have 5 acres of land and you want to be a part of this movement, let us know. Maybe you're here in the diaspora. You say, you know what, we cannot give you the land for free, but if it was supposed to be 30,000, we could give you the land for 15,000. We would take that definitely and put us in a payment plan. We're here for that. Or if you just want to donate that as a gift to the foundation, that land, listen, will have a huge plaque on it with your family name on it. And until Christ comes, that plaque is going to say this 5 acres of land was donated to the Ruben and Friends Foundation by Mr. So and his family. It never changes. Mr. So grandchildren is going to come, great-grand is going to come. They're going to know that grandfather, all right, did this for the foundation, all right? And then after we purchase that, again, as I said, we're going to build a school from kindergarten to 12th grade. And who's going to teach them? We're going to hire teachers. Creating jobs is a win-win. We're changing the lives of our disabled children and giving them a sense of living, and we're changing lives. We're creating jobs. And in the schools, we're going to have cafeteria where our children are going to gather for lunch. Who's going to cook for them? We're going to hire cooks to cook for them. Who's going to keep the bathroom clean? We're going to hire people to keep the bathroom clean. Who's going to wash the dishes when they're done? We're going to hire people to do that. And it could be the children's own parents. You and I will make that difference. And then a mother will be able to pay for her son or daughter. Oh my goodness, a son or daughter.
So technically, the investment goes right back within the community, within the society, and they potentially become the direct beneficiary.
Absolutely. Okay. And then the 200 beds, we're going to build facility, a group home style, 100 for girls, 100 for boys. Kids with epilepsy, those with behavioral problems, we're going to hire a team that we're going to train. Because the Ruben and Friends Foundation board members, I'm telling you, we are so blessed. Almost everyone is a nurse. They're a nurse as a secretary, they're a nurse. I mean, we are so blessed. I have a great team. Hopefully next time, Mr. So, you can interview all of us, and the passion that they have is so amazing. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to train people to be able to care for these children properly. All right. Then we're going to have nurses. We're going to build a clinic on the same property. God forbid if something happens to one of our children, our nurses are going to be there. And if it's out of that scope, then we send them over to JFK or the nearest hospital to care for them. Do you see where we're going with this? I'm smiling because every time I think about it, it's bigger than me. I get afraid. But I believe it was our former president, President Ellen Sirleaf. What did she say? If your dream don't scare you, and forgive me if I'm not quoting it right, but I believe she says something about your dreams being big enough to scare you. And if it scares you, it's a good thing. It is a good thing. And we are not going to back down from this. So we're appealing to the public. Join us, especially our family here in the diaspora. This vision cannot be pushed by one person. No matter how hard I try, I cannot do it alone. With your help, we can get it done. If you're in Minnesota and you're watching me, you want to host us, get in contact. We will come to Minnesota and we will talk to the people there. If you're in Texas and you're watching from Texas, invite us. We will come over and we will speak to the community that is there. And guess what also? We're going to build a hotel on the same property. That's why we need 5 acres. So when great people like you who's going to begin to support this vision wants to go to Liberia, you can come on campus and see what we're doing. And you can knock your chest and say, you know what? I was part of this movement. I am the reason why this place is built. Even if it's $5 that you choose to give us every month, it's something. Please do not shy away. Please do not harden your heart. Imagine the beautiful faces of our disabled children in the wheelchair, our disabled children with their crutches. our disabled children playing basketball, playing soccer, being in an environment for them that's going to help them grow. My goodness, if this does not touch you, then I don't know what will, because I get too excited about it. And guess what? Before I turn it over to you, Mr. So, we also want to buy a farm. Why do we want to buy this farm? We want to be able to grow our own food. We want to be self-sufficient. So when we have the farm, a rice farm, for example, we can harvest, all right, and have our rice coming in, but we're able to feed our children. We can harvest our cassava. We can harvest our plantains. We can harvest our, we're going to have cows and pigs reproduce, and we can have our own meat and everything else to have, meet the diet of our children. So we're not just only trying to depend on you. We want to be self-sufficient, but we cannot do this alone. And lastly, we're going to have an auditorium. And you know why we're going to have that auditorium? Like the ministerial complex, so that the children will be able to put up that shows. Now that Christmas is coming, they could put on a Christmas play. And even your children from outside can come and join them. We want to change the narrative. We want to be inclusive. And we cannot do this without your help. Join the movement. There is room for you. Over to you, sir.
Should I provoke you on something? Because I've been talking about your sinking and sinking. And the last thing we want to do, people who have their events around and they just think they don't just want to give money, trust me, be a wedding, anniversary, reunions, or any memorable event. Trust me, if you reach Fatuma and she formed part of your program, but for me, enough free, you got to give. Giving to all you are giving to the foundation. Because you know what? She got to get herself prepared. And we know how ladies, when they are getting ready to go for, you don't want anybody coming up there. No. So that it's a common sense. And we need to tell people, if they don't understand that one, then we need to maybe find people to speak their dialect to understand it. You don't want to have someone appearing as your guest and just look any kind of way. Yes. So that's the last thing. You can let me know. We ask her to share her number. Please do that self-recorded videos, so send message about the RUBEN Foundations and some of the skill. What's your favorite song?
You got time and seething in your hands. You call for light out of darkness. You don't need a man to be the God you are. Lord, you have chosen.
Let's leave it there. Let him make their reservation, then we'll finish it up. Okay. I want to thank you so much for this time. And
you're welcome.
I pray those are very big, good visions. Vision comes with steadfastness, bravery, the zeal, the courage.
Yes.
And that's all it needs. And you will drive it. You can push it. I want to thank you for sharing this beautiful Friday evening with us. We'll talk behind the scene and we'll get other things going. And I will check my calendar for that December 14th, and hopefully may not too far from it. I want to be part of that. I want to get some of that blessing. And
Amen.
We'll see what to do. But thank you so much for what you do. I think you have touched live. You have moved the needle here this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. So, for having us.
All right. Bye-bye. So, folks, that's this evening, what I had today from Capitol Building, but I think this is the most important one yet. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.